Never would I have thought that I would have given this much of a shit about Kenny Ackerman until this chapter. Getting the backstory, finally understanding the connection with Levi, why Levi is an Ackerman, and just all around the backstory that we got was just some very good stuff. Sad, tragic, but very good nonetheless, and also a powerful message at the end of the day. Some of the words that Kenny said in this chapter where he was going down the list of, like, at the end of the day, everyone in this world is drunk off something, either woman, booze, power, being a hero, children, all the things that he said. It just felt really powerful, and at the end of the day, it's a real life message. I think to a certain degree, everyone in this world is drunk off something, whether it's just in general trying to be happy, trying to get good grades, and you know, they thrive off of when they get that A or something. And honestly, to get something like that out of Attack on Titan, that's pretty damn good. Now, going back and finding out a little bit more about the royal family and the Ackermans, and why the Ackermans were at it with them, and why they were trying to slay the king, and kind of getting Kenny's character development from where he was to who he ultimately became. I mean, I would have liked to see a more innocent Kenny at some given point, just to see like the very first time he, you know, really went at it or whatever. But at the very least, we got to see what made him such a deep person, like between the king bowing down to him basically and saying, please, you know, I want to change this world or whatever, and just getting more of like everything that he had seen in his lifetime. Like, honestly, it sucks, but I guess that's also leaving more mystery that Kenny died, because Kenny had a lot of information. He didn't know everything. He didn't understand exactly why the king didn't want to save humanity or whatever, so still left out some big pieces or whatever. But ultimately, like, he was just a fucking pool of information, and he just barely gave a little bit, enough to give Levi a little bit more, and definitely some good character development for Levi, because when do we ever really see Levi like that humbled and that like smiling and stuff like that? Because what he had just gone through with Kenny in this chapter, it just really opened up his eyes, and finding out that that was his uncle and the reason why he left him. And it's like, it's fucked up to see like little Levi and everything that he went through. Like, he had a tragic life with his mother dying like that, you know, being sick in bed and everything, and it just really added to the character and gave more depth to him and more of an understanding of like why Levi is the hardened badass that he is. I mean, we have the Levi manga, but it doesn't explain the early days of Levi Ackerman. And I mean, to be honest with you, to a small extent, I understand why Kenny left Levi as a child and didn't really raise him. I mean, at the end of the day, he was a killer, he was a murderer, he didn't have time for that. He also had to, you know, attend to the royal family or whatever, and all the responsibilities that he had. But it still kind of feels fucked up at the end of the day. Like, Levi might have not turned out to be so cold or whatever if Kenny would have just stood with him. You know, if his uncle Kenny would have raised him instead of just leaving him out into the fucking slums or whatever to fend for himself, maybe Levi's life would have been a little bit easier. Maybe he wouldn't. But then at the same time, it also made him the man that he is today, so you can't completely knock Kenny for it. I mean, it's fucked up, but at the same time, Levi became a better person for it. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this is set up for maybe Levi at some given point, or someone else is going to eventually become a Titan, with Kenny passing him the vials, which at the end of the day, it was interesting that Kenny wanted that so bad, that power to be able to look down on people and, you know, become a Titan or whatever. And he realized at the end of his lifespan that it's just not worth it. It's like, you know, everybody's drunk off something. I'm not going to go to my grave like that. So really powerful stuff there. And again, I think a huge setup for maybe at some given point, Levi is going to be on the edge of it all and just use it or whatever and become a Titan, because I don't know if he gave that vial away, if he still kept it or whatever, but just imagine Levi as a fucking Titan. I mean, oh, that'd be sick. And honestly, I think, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, Historia, great character development this arc. She is one of the best characters that developed throughout this arc, just seeing where she was, how she took control. Now she's the queen. She even went and still kept on her promise and went up to Levi and fucked him up and everything. And just Historia, everything that she did, great character development, from not giving a fuck about her to ultimately hating her to now she is just an awesome character. She took charge and did what she set out to do and changed a lot of things. And I'm just curious, like, is she still going to want to get that power from Eren eventually? Is Eren going to hold on to it? Because at the end of the day, in Eren's hands, it's a powerful weapon, but if he can't completely, you know, utilize it, because at the end of the day he's not part of that bloodline, then it's kind of like that power really should be in Historia's hands, but then at the same time she wouldn't be able to do it, because we've seen already time and time again that the race family, when they have this power, ultimately they give into this mind thing that basically makes them not want to save humanity for whatever reason. And quickly going back to Kenny, I was just surprised as well, because I did not expect for him to get burned up or anything, but I guess he just wasn't able to get away fast enough from the mindless Titan or whatever, so that kind of caught me off guard as well. I didn't expect that, to see like him just burnt the fuck up to a crisp or whatever. But ultimately, good character development for Levi, like just changing him or whatever, getting that smile at the end and the little banter between him and Historia, whatever, seeing how he's changed. Historia, great character development for her. Kenny's backstory, understanding a little more of the connections with Levi, and I'm starting to really wonder, like, Mikasa, is that like Levi's sister? Is that Levi's cousin? What's up with that? But nonetheless, very good stuff for this chapter. I'm gonna give this one 8.5 out of 10. Just a lot of things that it hit right. It was, you know, a lot of sluggish parts between the humanity versus humanity arc or whatever, but ultimately it led to some really good character development, so you gotta give it up for that at the very least. Let me know what you guys thought. First of all, what do you think about finding out Levi's backstory, his connections to Kenny? Did you ultimately feel bad for Kenny at the end? Like, he turned out to be a really deep and complex guy. Like, when he went on with the speech and everything, it was just like, fuck, I understand where he's coming from. And just your overall thoughts with everything, like this being basically the finale to this arc. Where do you think we're going to go from here? Are we going to try to go back to the basement so we can get these answers? Where's Eren going to be at? Because Eren, at the end of the day, I'm kind of iffy about his character right now. Some say that was character development. I don't see how screaming on the floor, I'm worthless, I'm a bitch, I'm not the hero I want to be, is character development, but I'm curious to see where it goes from here with him. And just overall thoughts on everything, but that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, if you could do so as well, that'd be amazing. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.